What's going on, everybody? Dr. Vasquez here, coming to you live. Today is Sunday, June the 28th. Hope you're all doing well. Don't bother getting dressed for me if you're kind of relaxing and enjoying your Sunday morning. It's only a video. I can't see you, even though you can see me. Right now, we're going to talk about this new article from our friends at the Journal of the American Medical Association. You know that anytime they talk about dietary supplements, it's going to be a bunch of bullshit. So I was at first planning to do kind of a long form review of this article, but at the same time I knew that it didn't warrant it because you know and I know that anytime the American Medical Association talks about nutrition, it's just going to be bullshit. It's just going to be propaganda. Now, in order to have a vehicle for that bullshit and propaganda, they have to say something, and so we're going to look at what they said, and I'll point out to you the propaganda points, which for me are pretty obvious because, as you all know, I've been at this game for a long time. You know, I've been reading research for 35 years, something like that. So, because I have a lot of experience looking at research and because I've seen things from a lot of different angles, you know, obviously I studied chiropractic in my early 20s, and I even started publishing research in my 20s. Then I went to naturopathic medical school. Then I practiced for many years, and then eventually I went to osteopathic medical school. And so, you know, I can analyze things from many different perspectives and see the good and the bad in all of those. It's not like I'm just trying to be critical of things. I'm trying to see them for what they are. And when they happen to be bullshit and propaganda, then I call it out as such. And I think that has value, in my opinion. I think that as an activity has value for me, and it has value, I believe, for everybody. As I've said in other conversations, every once in a while, I don't say this all the time, but I'm about to say it again right now. Anytime we gain clarity on anything, it helps us have clarity on other things. So, a supposed philosopher actually wrote a book on that topic. Actually, 2 books have been written on that topic. And I didn't enjoy either one of those books, which is why I don't remember the authors or the names of the books. But I'll look it up. I've got them somewhere, and I'll post it when I edit the video, so you can see what I'm talking about. But one of the books, the earlier of the 2 books, talks about how expansions and expansion in human knowledge has kind of a synergistic effect in helping us understand other things. You know, so advances in mathematics led to advances in architecture, and advances in architecture eventually got translated into advances in engineering, and that gave us engines and motors and rockets and technology. So, you know, that's kind of an example of a linear progression, because obviously, you know, that started with some mathematical awareness of things, even if it's just conceptual. People had to begin to understand, you know, concepts like gravity and force and resistance and tension and compression and things like that, and then they could build buildings. It doesn't mean they had to study, you know, formally those things, but either formally and or through intuition, people gained understanding of basic things, and then that led to more advanced understanding to where we are now, where we can understand things, you know, down to the molecular and atomic level. So again, as I was saying, these exercises in critique aren't simply limited to this particular article or this particular topic. Again, as we gain clarity in any topic, that helps us think more clearly and then have clarity in other topics. So that's one of the ways you can look at this. I mean, you can think of it, oh, well, he's just going to blab on for a few minutes about this article. And yeah, that's what I'm going to do. But within the context of that blab is, you know, some clarity and some insight and, you know, things that you may actually be able to use and understand and apply in your own life. I don't see that this article is really rich in clinical applications, but it's not designed to be. This is a data piece, and secondarily, or maybe even primarily, this article is about data and then propaganda. So it's not about clinical implementation and therapy and advancement and all that. That's not the purpose of this article. So we can't really critique them for that. Now, I am going to critique them for certain things, but it won't be that. So this article, as you can tell, sorry, I'm getting a notice that I have to get off my screen. This article is written by whoever these people are, PhD, PhD, doctor, PhD, PharmD, science doctorate, MD science doctorate, whatever. So, okay, so they've got their academic credentials. Again, as you can see from the title, I'll start going through it now. Emerging patterns in dietary supplement use among U.S. adults. So they're looking at 25-year trends here. They use a government survey, which I interpret that as being a bit biased, and maybe it is or maybe it isn't. Sorry if my shirt is a little wrinkled there. But this is a survey done by the United States government, and the United States government is clearly in bed with one of its best friends, which is the pharmaceutical industry. So, and I hadn't thought of it this way until right now, but what is the purpose of, well, in the United States anyway, I guess most governments are this way, but, you know, the idea that we want, I guess this is actually pretty good. I never thought of this until right now, which is why I'm kind of stumbling to get there, but here it comes. The supposed purpose of a government is to protect you and help advance society and advance, you know, the lives and the experience of the people in that country. So supposedly, you know, the purpose of a government is organization, protection, advancement, doing things collectively that we couldn't do on our own. Even though at the same time, you know, certain parts of society want to demonize everything collective because they're just trying to protect their own interests. But anyway, that's why, you know, concepts like public good and socialism are so demonized in the United States. But anyway, theoretically, the purpose of government is to organize, protect, and advance the world, the society, the world within that sphere. But what do governments really do? They just want control and money, basically, and power and all that kind of stuff. And the same thing could be said, I believe, of the medical profession. You know, what's the theoretical goal of the medical profession? You know, science, advancement, beneficence, and, you know, taking care of sick and injured people. But what's the real goal of, especially the American medical profession? It's mostly control and profit. And you see that in their language all the time. And it's actually beautifully demonstrated in this article. So usually when the American Medical Association is going to talk about nutrition, the first thing they say is it's a multi-million-dollar or a multi-billion-dollar market. Well, does that really need to be the first sentence out of the gate? I mean, they're obviously playing their hand when they do that. So you'll notice that the medical profession can't stand to talk about nutrition as if it were a legitimate science, because these people have no training in this, but they want to assume they understand it, and so they use a technique, which is a logical fallacy, called refutation by denigration. They just insult the entire science of human nutrition because they don't have any training in it, they don't understand it. And so they just say, oh, well, it's a multi-million-dollar market, and it's all driven by advertising, and now the social media influencers are pushing products that don't have any science and all this kind of stuff. So it's all about them trying to protect their market. If this were a truly legit scientific article, they would talk about the science, but they only nitpick the science in order to say, oh, well, this is dangerous. Oh, this has a potential risk. And they use it, as you would expect, and they did it in this article, and this is common. But they cherry pick, they kind of reverse cherry pick. I don't know what that would be called. I mean, the larger term for it is muckraking, but in this case, they're kind of going back 30 years to find a bogus study that showed some risk of a nutritional supplement. And they're saying, look, all nutritional supplements are dangerous, when they're using research that's been debunked for 30 years. Because like one of the studies they use in this article to supposedly demonstrate the risk of nutrition is more than 30 years old. It's 32 years old. And when I was studying naturopathic medicine at Bastyr University under Alan Gaby, who was our nutrition teacher, even then we were debunking that research 30 years ago. And yet here we are in 2026, supposedly, and